The greatest ripoff of all time, Al Snow was responsible for. He denies it to this day, but he's a liar.
Okay.
Because I don't lie. I got no reason to lie. I'm not trying to get a job with anybody. I got no reason to fucking lie. Do you know the bit, the thing they did, aces and eights in TNA?
I wasn't watching TNA at the time, but I am familiar with that.
Well,
With
well,
that
really, neither
fact.
neither was I until I heard this
Right.
was on. You know who
Right.
came up with that idea?
You.
I'd like to take credit for it, but no, it was my son.
Really?
My son went to Al Snow and came up with that exact fucking idea for OVW.
Holy
We were
crap.
going to do it with a wrestler named Wayne, Rocco Bellagio. Who else did we have? God, there's 4 or 5 others that Chris had pretty good. And that was what we were going to do. And he had come up with this entire aces and eights, only we weren't going to call it that. It was going to be called something else. But the perception and the idea, everything, the conception, I mean, everything was exact other than what they called it. And then Al Snow shot it down. Oh, that's no, man, that's stupid. No one's going to fucking buy that. No, we're not going to do that. Well, we got our way a lot, but we didn't get our way on this one. So we let it go. My son had mainly pitched it. I told Al it was a hell of an idea and I thought it would work. Now Al shit all over it. Well, Al also worked for TNA at the time. He was up here.
Yeah.
He was up here for television tapings, and then he worked for TNA a couple 3 days a week down there, and helped on their TV shows. What do we see 3 or 4 weeks right after we pitched it here to Al, and we were told how stupid it was? Is the exact fucking thing that Christopher laid out for him. And I'm going, you got to fucking be. Someone called me and says, King says, you remember that fucking thing that Chris came up with? He said, yeah. He said, I'm watching it right now on TNA. I said, you got to be shitting me, because it was hard for me to even watch TNA back then. So I put on TNA and I'm seeing this fucking shit and I'm about to die. I'm going, oh, it's stupid for fucking us to do it, but you can take it down there. So I'm waiting for Al Snow when he gets back. I corner him in the office. I said, hey, it's bad enough that you tell my son how stupid his idea is and you didn't give him a chance to fucking prove it. But to steal our fucking idea and take it to fucking TNA with you and then not even fucking ask us if we're cool with it. I said, that's just a slap in our... What idea? Oh, no, man, you got it all wrong. King, we come up with that months ago. I said, you lying motherfucker. I said, you did not come up with that months ago. My son just pitched it to you 3 weeks ago over in the corner of that locker room, and you told him how stupid he was. That's what you told him. No, King, no, it was nothing like what Chris pitched. I said, it's exactly what Chris pitched. I heard every goddamn word of it, Al. I was sitting in the room. I said, I heard every fucking word of it. So I called Chris in. I said, Chris, come here. I said, tell Chris what you just... Chris, I'm telling you, man, we didn't rip you off. We've had that idea in place for several months now. Chris looked at him, rolled his eyes, and said, go fuck yourself. And he walked out, went back to the locker room. They couldn't never tell Chris another thing to do after that. Now, I love Al. Al's a hell of a guy, and he's a buddy of mine. But, Al, you're lying.
That's
Goddamn
awesome.
liar, because you stole my fucking son's idea. If you didn't do it, you had somebody else take credit for it. But and it's sad that we're taking credit for any fucking thing TNA did, but that idea was my son's.